All right, hello everyone. This time we're going to focus with indices chapter, and we're going to have the 5 laws of indices. And for now, we're going to be focusing on the law number 1. So the law number 1 states that if the bases are the same, and we are multiplying them, what we need to do is to just add their particular exponents. So in here, you will see this calculation a raised to m times a raised to n is equivalent to a raised to m plus n. So as you can notice, they have the same basis a, and what we need to do is if we multiply, we just need to add their particular exponents. So let's say, for example, if I'm going to answer this one, so I know that the bases are just the same, and the only thing that I need to do is to add their corresponding exponents. So this gives me a final answer of 5. Oops, this one is 6. So this gives me 5 raised to 14. Now, what are we going to do if we experience multiple variables and with numerical coefficients? So in here, what you need to do is to remember that you're just multiplying the numbers. So first, we're multiplying the number 6 times 4. And then the variables are b. And this one is b8 and b3. So that's going to give us a calculation of 8 plus 3. Okay, and then the other one is c, 5 plus 2. So from here, this will now give us an answer of 24, b raised to 11, and c raised to 7. All right, so you just need to pause this video and try to get the answer this one. You may pause it now. All right, so let's pretend that, let's assume that you guys have posted this one. So that means you will have these calculations as 7 plus 3, which gives you 4 raised to 10. So the same thing is what we are going to apply here. So we just multiply this one. So we're going to get 14 times x raised to 1 plus 5. And then y is, since y, there is no particular value for the y, so it will remain the same. And then the c now is just going to remain the same. So c squared. So from here, you will now have 14x raised to 6, y raised to 4, and c raised to 2. Okay. Now, this is the law of indices number 1. Now, this time we're going to move on to number 2. So this one involves division. And as you notice in this particular problem, all right, when you encounter calculations with the same bases, all we need to do is to subtract their given exponents. So let's say, for example, I'm going to answer this one. So this is going to be 7 raised to 8 minus 3, which gives us a final answer of 7 raised to 5. Right? So the same thing is what you guys are going to apply when you encounter this particular problem with multiple variables and numerical coefficients. So what you need to do is to just divide the whole numbers first. So 12 divided by 6 is 12 divided by 6. And then the b is going to be 6 minus 4. And then the c is going to be 3 minus 2. So this finalized as 2 raised to b raised to 2 and c. Okay. Now, again, pause this video and answer this one. All right. So for this one, this is going to be r raised to the 8th power. So I think there's no need for me to explain that one. So from here, if I divide 18 by 9, oops, why is it? Okay, so let's have this as division instead. Okay, this one should be a division process. Okay, so 18 divided by 9 is going to give us 2. All right, and then x is 7 minus 4 is 3. And then 5 minus 2 is 3. So this is how it's going to calculate. All right. Now let's go now to law of indices number 3. So in this case, you will have a particular value with exponents or a base with exponent, and it was multiplied by another exponent. So let's give an example here first. So let's say I have 2 raised to 2 bracket 3. So in this case, you know that the exponent means you are multiplying that particular number by the number of times you see in the exponent. So let's say this one is 2 raised to 2, and it's going to be multiplied to itself 3 times. So we know that in the multiplication, we just add their exponents when we multiply the same basis, which tells us that the answer here is 2 raised to 6. Now, to simplify that particular calculations, all we need to do is to just look at these values, and we can automatically say that this is going to be 2 raised to 2 times 3. So the answer will still be the same. Okay, so let's say, for example, if we are going to answer this kind of question, this will now give us 5 raised to 7 times 3, which provides us 5 raised to 21. All right. Now, in this case, if you are going to see this kind of calculation, what you will understand is that we are going to have, okay, a variable with the exponent. So there's nothing to worry about that. So when you encounter that, this would only mean that you have 7p, 7 raised to p times 4. And then the other one tells you that you have 7, 2 raised to 2 times p. So from here, you can see that we are going to have this as 7 raised to 4p, and then multiplied to 7 raised to 2p. And as we know that if we are multiplying the same bases, what we need to do is to just add their exponents. So this is going to be a calculation of 7 times 4p plus 2p, which eventually will give you a final answer of 7 raised to 6p. Okay. All right. Now this time, I want you guys to pause the video and try to answer these particular questions. Okay. So let's have this one. So this is going to be 6 raised to 3 times 5, which gives us 6 raised to 15. And then for this one, I'll just simplify the calculation, guys, so that we will not be wasting time. So this is going to be 3 raised to 6r times, okay, 3 raised to 4r, which gives us 3 raised to 10r. Okay. Now, let's move on to the fourth law. All right, I need you guys to pay attention with this one. So the fourth law states that if you have two different variables, okay, that have the same exponent, then you can express them as a multiplication of that particular basis with the exponent being the same, right? So let's say, for example, we are going to have this calculation here of 2 raised to 4 times 5 raised to 4. So this is going to give us a calculation now of 2 times 5 raised to the value of 4, which gives us an answer of 10 raised to 4. Okay. So in this next particular part, you will see that there will be exponents by another exponents here. So what you guys need to do is to just simplify them. So if we have this calculation, so first you are going to multiply these exponents to each of one of the equations. So this is going to give us 4 raised to the third power, x raised to the sixth, and y raised to the ninth, divided by x squared and y raised to the sixth. Okay, so we know that 4 raised to the third power will give us 64. Okay, and then the x will now have a calculation of 6 minus 2, and the y will now have a calculation of 9 minus 6. So this gives us 64, x raised to 4, y cubed. Okay. Now, what I want you to do, guys, is to answer this particular part now. All right. So just like what we did here, so you will have these 3 raised to 7 times 8 raised to 7, which means that you are going to multiply 3 and 8 and give it a bracket of 7. So this, exponent of 7. So this will now give us 24 raised to the 7th power. Okay, so the next one that we have here is going to be the same to what we did here. So as you can see, this one is going to be a negative value. So if we are going to express that, we have to understand that there is a negative 1 over there. And if we are going to square this, this is now going to give us p raised to 14, eliminating the negative because we square it, and then q raised to 10. And it's being divided by, okay, so this is going to be 27. So 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. P raised to the 9th power and Q raised to the 6th power. Okay, so we know here that the denominator, so when we divide, you will see a fraction value of 1 over 27. So you can just write this as a calculation of the numerator divided by 37, and the numerators will be this values that we have. So P raised to 5 and Q raised to 4. Or you can express this as a calculation of 1 over 27 bracket P5 Q4. All right. Okay, let's move on to the last law of indices. So in this case, you will have this division process wherein it states that when you are dividing different bases and they have the same exponent, then you can express them as a calculation of A divided by B bracket raised to n, or A over B raised to n. So to further explain this, this is what you guys are going to have if you're going to calculate this. So you can rewrite this as a calculation of 10 over 2 bracket 8, which if you simplify, will give you a calculation of 5 raised to the power of 8. Okay. Now for the second one, it's also the same. However, we need to simplify whatever you guys see here first. So let's say, for example, for this part, we know that we are putting the 2 in the 4. 2 raised to 4 is 16, if I'm not mistaken. 16 P raised to the 8th power. And then this is going to be Q raised to the 12th power. All right. And it's going to be divided by 8 raised to p raised to the third power over q raised to the 16th power, which if you guys are going to recalculate, this is going to be flipped and will give us a calculation of this times q raised to 16 over 8 raised to p cubed. Right? So from here, you will now see that you can actually cancel out these two values, the 8 and the 16. And from here, you can now see that you can just automatically subtract these values, giving you a calculation of p raised to 5, okay, and q raised to 4. All right, so now what I want you to do is to pause this video and try to answer this calculation. Okay, so now let's assume that you guys were able to do that. So if we are going to solve this, this will give us a calculation of 21 divided by 7, okay, raised to 3. So this is going to be 3 raised to the third power, which eventually will give us an answer of 27. Or if it was not asked to for you to evaluate, then you will just have the answer like this. So the same procedure is what you guys are going to apply for the second question. So you're going to rewrite this as 3 raised to 3, or we can say 3 raised to 3 is 27. This is x raised to the 6th power, and this one will remain as x to this to the 9th power. Okay. So divided by 27 x raised to the 7th power over x raised to the 21. So again, you will just be flipping this value. So you will have 27 times x raised to 6 over 27x raised to 6, x raised to 9 times x raised to 21 over 27. So if I'm going to calculate for this one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel out these values, leaving me with x raised to 27 over x raised to 16. Okay, so this is going to give us x raised to 11. All right, so this is the calculation that we guys had. All right, if you have any other question, you can just approach me or leave a message to this video. And at the same time, by next meeting, we are going to discuss about 0 and negative indices. All right, that's it. I hope you guys learned, and thank you so much and have a nice day.